Well, I'm joined now by Jim O'Rourke, who is the chairman of Cavan IFA. Jim, you're very welcome to the programme.
Morning, welcome, thank you.
An amazing setup here in Taste of Cavan. There's food producers that, although I am only a blow-in, but I've been here for 9 years, most of which I've never heard of. There's an amazing amount of food being produced in the Cavan area.
Yeah, it's we pride ourselves in Cavan, and we representing the farming community, which is basically the primary producers, and when you come into an event like this and see how our produce being displayed by all the different processors and traders and small businesses, it gives us great delight in seeing how well and how wholesome a food is being produced. And everything on display here today is being produced from Cavan. Is produced by local farmers and prepared and brought in here. And it's quality food. I can safely say it's food that's produced to the highest environmental animal welfare standards that you'll get any place in the world. Ireland is recognised as a country for good production, high standards, as I said, environmental and animal welfare. We are a big part of that, obviously, here in Cavan, and we are producing food, and no matter where I go in the world, I know that no matter what food I get, I can get as good a food, better food at home, and that is something that we take great pride and joy in. And when you come in here and see the way that food is being displayed, it's marvellous to see it, and that so many different sectors of the community can come together and have a share of one interest, the same interest. And then I suppose on an economic front, what food production is worth to the county on an economic basis, employment. There's thousands and thousands of people within the county employed within the whole food sector, and that's invaluable to the county on an economic basis.
Because of all sectors in the country, it's agriculture and farming and food production is the one that really gives us hope for the future as a country, and one that, as I said, we're not noted for our engineering, we're not noted for our car manufacture, but as you said, food production and food, Irish food, is known all over the world.
Yeah, and sometimes I think, and I hope I'm not being biased, maybe it doesn't get the recognition that it deserves, food and the whole agri business. There's about 9 billion of exports attributed to the agri sector, and that's growing. There's the potential to grow that by another 50% going forward with the Harvest 2020 report, and that's tremendous employment and revenue. Basically, food, all the food produced here in Cavan is food basically produced of grass, and the grass is our oil. It's our natural resource. You know what I mean? And that's why €1 billion worth of exports from the agricultural sector is far more beneficial than maybe from other sectors. I'm not talking down any other sector. Exports is invaluable, but it's a sector that has potential. It has potential, and we can compete with the best.
Now, you mentioned grass as our fuel, and from grass you get fodder. A couple of months ago, farmers were in a dreadful state for fodder. Has that passed, or could it raise its ugly head again later on in the year?
It has passed in the context just from a day-to-day point of view. You know what I mean? This time last year, fellas had cattle housed. They were eaten into their fodder reserves in August last year, in some cases earlier than August, and that basically went on up until June this year, 2013. It was the end of May. This year is a whole different year. It was slow to come, it was slow to start, but we're at the tail end of the summer now. Temperature's good, weather is good, grass growth's good, but there's a financial issue there that that was created with the bad summer of 2012, the bad winter 2012, early 13. It is going to take some time to sort out the whole financial, aspect of it, because basically production was down, fodder prices went through the roof. We ended importing fodder from the UK, France, and Holland, you know, and that says enough. Like, when you have to do that, it was the first time in the history of the island that had to be done, and there is a big financial issue there that has to be dealt with. But thank God, at the moment, you know, we will get there. You know, the weather is...
It's past at the moment. One of the things you mentioned earlier about the collection that is here today, you mentioned small businesses, and people often forget that farming and farmers are small businessmen, and hard-working businessmen as well, because you obviously have a very bad PR person, because when I lived in Dublin, farmers are after lazy to do nothing. Since I moved up here now, I live in a lane and there's a farmer on the top past it, and at all times of day and night I see tractors going up and down. When there was silage to be cut, he was working 16 and 18 hour days. Being farming, it's not an easy life. You work hard.
No, it's not an easy life, and I suppose it's maybe if you're running your own business in any sector, you know, it's maybe not easy. I suppose what makes farming different is you're so weather dependent, and if the sun shines, if you have something to do, you have to just dig in and get it done. You can't knock off at 6 o'clock, as you say. You could run late into the night, early mornings. You just have to do that. That has to be the mindset, you know, and you have to take advantage of the weather when the sun shines. In regards to PR, it's probably an area we have fallen down on with our urban cousins, you know what I mean? You know, that there's an area there we possibly, but in fairness, I do know when you talk to them and explain, I think deep down they do support us, you know, but I would like to think that we can mend relations there. There's probably an area there that there can be a lot of misunderstanding, you know. There's the perception that if you have 100 acres of land or a couple of 100 acres of land, you're a millionaire, but unfortunately that's only the tools of the trade, you know. It's what you can eke out of that for yourself, you know. That is your, you know, and we have no concessions. Like, I mean, we have to deal with the taxman, and we have to deal with all the local charges, the same as everybody else, you know.
But it's a worthwhile life.
Well, look at it. It's I suppose if you're into it, you're into it. And personally, I was reared into it, and I'm still at it. And
not a bad way of spending your life. Jim O'Rourke, Chairman of Cavan IFA. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.